I've never seen anything like this. This is absolutely wild, but my question is, what is happening here? But then also, what would you do? Let me know.
So we rented an Airbnb on Toledo, and I asked the host about all of this water and the AC vent. She said, oh, it's fine to run it with all that condensation in there. It's okay. So, guess you're just gonna let it live like this forever. Pretty wild, if you ask me.
Blimey, if someone tells you this is fine, it is not. That's a paddling pool under your floorboards and you're paying by the night for it, not to mention the potential for mold and lots of other problems actually.
SpaceX want to put 1 million AI data centers into orbit. You heard that correctly. This is the Earth today, around 15,000 satellites in orbit, and about 2/3 of them belong to a single company, SpaceX. From the ground on a really dark night, you can maybe catch 2 or 3 of them drifting past. But if SpaceX's plan goes ahead, our orbit will be transformed into something like this. It's called AI-1, and as Starship pulls away, it starts to unfold. Fully extended, it's about 70 meters from tip to tip. And if that's not already terrifying enough, your night sky will be transformed to look like this. More machines crossing the sky than actual stars. You will never see the Milky Way again. And this gets seriously dangerous. They will be spaced out like this, each one separated by about 24 kilometers, orbiting as a grid in these massive shells. If 2 of them ever collide, it could set off a huge chain reaction, trapping us on Earth for good. If you want to learn more, make sure you check out the full video that's out now.
I suppose this is plan B then when they run out of land to steal and build on, a million data centers bolted over our heads until the sky is filled with machines instead of stars. That is just insane. And they want us to call that progress.
Today I'm going to show you a probiotic drink called Yakult under the microscope. It's kind of like a little probiotic shot. I actually ended up diluting this in water afterwards because the slide was so full of probiotics that it just looks like static on an old TV. Yakult is a fermented milk drink that contains live cultures of lactic acid bacteria, also known as lactobacillus. All of these small rod shapes you see here wiggling around are the probiotic bacteria, and I've put the magnifications for you on the top right of the screen. The strain in this one is Lactobacillus paracasei or Lactobacillus casei shirota, and was named after Dr. Minoru Shirota in the 1930s after he successfully cultured this strain to withstand the harsh environments of the stomach. He did this by isolating and cultivating lactic acid bacteria for many years until he found one that was most durable to resist our gastric juice and reach the gut alive. These drinks contain around 20 billion CFUs, or colony-forming units, per 65 milliliters of fluid, and also contain some vitamin D and E as well. As always, thanks for watching, and like
Find something incredibly grim about watching your gut drink wriggle under, well, a lens like you're watching Pond Life, I guess. Hello and welcome back to another episode. If you're new here, my name is NEXOR. My job is to take you down the rabbit hole, and it's not to find the bomb, because, I mean, those of you which have been doing this long enough know there is no bomb, and that's not even the point. It's to find the thread which resides in amongst all the static and all the noise, extract it and practice our discernment along the way. You've had a little taster just before now with everything. I do my intro a little bit later on in the video because, you know, that's just the way it is, but you've had a taster. There's more of that coming up. If you're enjoying it so far and you're new, hit subscribe. We're looking to hit 200,000 by September, which I don't think we're going to do, but hey, look, a guy can ask, right? We are on our way there. If everyone who watched actually did that right now, we'd annihilate that goal. We'd hit 250k. But enough of me rambling. We have a lot to get through, so let's crack on with this episode.
So I'm just watching Miss Rachel with my son, and this person pops up on the screen, and he's just like waving at us.
At first, this might seem pretty freaky, especially this popping up on a children's show. However, there is actually a logical explanation behind it. This video shows a mother and her child watching Miss Rachel, which is a popular children's show. The program was going normally, that is until out of nowhere, this random webcam popped up with somebody that appeared to be looking at them and reacting to what they were saying. Now, Miss Rachel is extremely popular. You can watch her videos on YouTube, and that right there is the key to this puzzle. These are not hackers inserting themselves into your TV. Instead, these guys are re-uploading Miss Rachel's videos and putting themselves in the video. The reason for this is to bypass YouTube's copyright detection. So when you switch it up with like an image of something or a video of something else, they might not take your video down. Not to mention, it makes the video longer, so they get even more money, and typically parents will just put this on, leave their kid there, and forget about it.
So it isn't hackers climbing into your telly, it's someone re-uploading the show with their own face parked in the corner, or just in the entire video, to slip past the copyright bots, and I suppose stretch the runtime for ad money. I don't know. What a weird racket, and it has no place in content like that at all. These people are, well, they're the worst.
Most people don't know that there's an opposite of deja vu called jamais vu. And turns out you can trigger this feeling for yourself. But be warned, it's pretty weird. Yep, unlike deja vu, which translates to already seen, jamais vu translates to never seen. And it's when something you know extremely well, like the street you live on or even a person, momentarily feels wrong or unfamiliar. In fact, a study showed that if you write or say the same word over and over again, your brain will begin to exhaust that recognition pathway, and after about a minute, you'll hear or see that word differently.
What am I saying?
We've all been there. Say any word enough times and it comes apart in your mouth, stops meaning anything at all, just ends up sounding like gibberish, doesn't it? The opposite of deja vu, and one of the stranger things your own head will do for you, free of charge. Like a lot of things these days, you know?
Hey, excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a few questions for an interview?
Make it quick. We gotta get the stone to the top of the pyramid.
Oh, okay, sure. So first question. Are you a slave?
What? No, most of us are skilled and paid workers, dude. You think anyone could build a big-ass pyramid like this?
So Twitter was wrong. All right, anyways, how heavy is this stone?
This one, about 15 tons. What? And the ones inside, oh, those are around 80 tons.
What the Okay, and what about the aliens that helped you build this?
Aliens? Ha! We've been doing this ourselves for 20 years now. Stone on the sled, water on the sand, pull it up a ramp, repeat. And Joe Rogan.
Also, I just realized, why are the pyramids white?
Oh, we covered them in smooth white limestone, making them shine, but it eroded before you could see it.
You good? Yeah. Alright, well, anyways, last question. Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, before you go, I was gonna ask, is this safe?
Kinda. Some workers get compressed spines, get injured, or in rare cases, dead.
But were they though? You know, nothing can actually convince me personally that the pyramids were built by us. And by us, I mean the current iteration of humanity. I believe they existed long before we were here, and likely will long after, when the next iteration comes around and they are told they were built by us. And, you know, maybe they'll say that they were AI data centers or something.
This is Bob and this is Sue. They both live in two-dimensional universes. Bob's universe is flat and Sue's is curved. But surprisingly, when they live in the universe, it's hard to tell what shape their universe actually is. Now, Bob is smart and remembers his Euclidean geometry. He knows that if you draw a triangle, the angles always equal 180 degrees. And you definitely can't draw a triangle with three 90-degree angles. And because of this, he determines that his three-dimensional universe must be flat. Sue does the same thing and determines that her three-dimensional universe must be flat as well. But then she starts to second guess herself and says, well, what if the curvature is actually just really low and it looks flat on a local level? So she decides to draw some bigger shapes and see if it still looks flat. So she draws three right angles really far away from each other in her universe and connects them with straight lines, and lo and behold, she can connect three straight lines with three 90-degree angles and it makes a triangle. So she determines that her three-dimensional shape is actually spherical. Now this is the same way that scientists are trying to figure out the four-dimensional shape of our universe.
Same trick the real scientists run on ours, just more math involved and I'd say less tinfoil.
Hey UK, what's new with you? Bro, our people have a problem with the eclipse. Eclipse that happened 2 days ago? Why? Well, it was beautiful and everyone wanted to watch the eclipse, but not everyone wore the eclipse glasses. Why? I just made a video telling you that you have to wear eclipse glasses. And maybe those people didn't listen? Because in just one hospital, 30 people were saying that their eyes hurt. Oh no. And Google searches for eyes hurt jumped 5,000%. 5,000%? Did no one wear glasses? Did no one listen to what I said? I know, they should have listened. I wonder how many cases it would have been if it was in America.
told repeatedly to wear the glasses, and a good chunk of the country stared straight up at it anyway, and then googled eyes hurt in a mild panic. What did they think was going to happen, I wonder?
The most powerful volcanic eruption possible is classified as a level 8, and you have no idea just how much damage they're prepared for. Starting at level 0, which is relatively gentle, with lava flowing rather than violently exploding. Level 2 eruptions are explosive, but fairly small, ejecting at least 1 million cubic meters of material, like Volcano de Fuego in Guatemala. Level 4 is considered cataclysmic, ejecting at least 0.1 cubic kilometers, like the Mount Semeru explosion of 2021. Level 5 is where things get serious. Mount St. Helens reached this level in 1980. Level 6 is colossal. The 2022 eruption of Hunga Tonga reached this level and temporarily cooled the entire planet. Level 7 is super colossal, like Tambora's 1815 eruption that contributed to the following year's year without summer. But level 8 is the maximum, a super eruption ejecting more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of material. Yellowstone has produced eruptions of this magnitude in the ancient past, and hopefully not again anytime soon.
I do love a good scale. Level 8 is Yellowstone territory, the sort that reorders the planet's weather for a year, and we sit on one hoping it keeps its lid on. Nothing to be done about it, mind you, so I try not to dwell.
Is human breast milk any different to regular cow's milk? I'm going to compare both under the microscope. Let's take a look at cow's milk first. It is definitely more than just water, and if you look closely you can see some particle matter. It has also been heat treated. Now, the human breast milk. You will be surprised by what you see next. Compared to the cow's milk, there is so much more going on in this human breast milk. Human breast milk contains maternal leukocytes. These provide active immunity to bub, while bub develops their own immune system. In this footage you can see lots of fats, oils, and even protein bubbles. There also appears to be cells in this human breast milk. This mix is beneficial to the microenvironment of bub's stomach. There is just so much activity in one drop of this milk. I also want you to meet Little L. He might feature in some of the science videos, but maybe after a diaper change.
No dog in the milk debate here, but I'll grant you that's a lot going on in one drop. Squidward as wrath, Mr. Krabs as greed, and they're somehow not exactly wrong, are they?
The people who make money on our private data never want to give up their own privacy.
Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
If you've messaged anybody this week, would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about. A question, basically, of what information Facebook's collecting, who they're sending it to, and whether they ever asked me in advance my permission to do that.
Mark Zuckerberg making a joke on privacy that did not exactly land with the audience there.
I know that we don't exactly have the strongest reputation on privacy right now, to put it lightly. But I'm committed to doing this well and to starting a new chapter for our products.
A lot to unpack.
Our private data is fair game right up until it's his. Same story as ever.
United States, if you owe money for child support, you are completely prevented from playing the game. Let me explain. Don't pay your child support, get your passport revoked. Don't pay child support, you're not allowed to renew your license. Or buy tabs or registration for a vehicle. Maybe you're owed money in your federal tax return. Psych, it gets intercepted. Maybe you're elderly or retired and you're collecting Social Security. Not anymore, it's intercepted for child support. Don't pay your child support, you are barred from any and all federal licensing. That includes your pilot's license or your boating and captain's license, fishing, hunting, firearm licenses. All of them are gone and you can't renew them because you didn't pay your child support. Maybe none of that stuff affects you and you make it your entire life without paying any child support. You eventually die thinking you won, but you're wrong. Anything and everything that's of value that's in your estate gets sold to pay for your child support. Long story short, living or dead, there's no way out of it. You're paying your child support. Either pay for it now, be able to play the game, or not pay for it, not be able to play the game, and then still pay for it anyways.
Passport, license, tax return, pension, the lot. And if you dodge it your whole life, they'll take it out of your estate once you're gone. Say what you like about the machine, it does not forget a debt. Living or dead, it gets paid. Where's that cold efficiency? Something that actually helps people.
Eliminate destructive self-criticism. In other words, never say anything destructively critical about yourself. Just don't say it. Since your subconscious accepts whatever you say as true, as being a command, what you do is you don't say anything about yourself that you do not sincerely desire to be true. Don't say, I'm tired. Don't say, I can't or I have to. Don't say anything unless you want it to be true. Remember, the words that come after the word I are the words that your subconscious records as commands, except for when you say, I wish or I'll try. So eliminate destructive self-criticism. Only speak in positive terms about yourself. I like myself. I like myself. I can do it. I will do it. I choose to do it.
A decent idea gets sold straight back to you as a membership, which is the wellness game in a nutshell, really, isn't it?
That vehicle struck your dad. It backed over your dad, and then it went over your dad again. There's no way I could have done that.
Your watch, as soon as we started talking about all this, your heart rate jumped up about 20 to 30 beats per minute.
Did it? Your whole demeanor has changed now.
Good grief, that is dark. His own watch gave him away, and it can't even be used as evidence of anything.
Anxiety and depression are up 20+% when you move into the city. And that's largely attributed to things like light and sound. It's extremely bright and extremely loud. That doesn't mean they're bad or you can't live in them. It just simply means that's why you have to take extra steps.
I think a lot of people listening to this will think, well, Andy, my bedroom's very dark. But that's actually not what you're saying, is it? We are here in New York City now. And if I walked to the shop last night at 10 p.m., I was exposed to so much light outside at a critical time when my body should be not exposed to light, so that it's going to impact me even when I get into that dark room.
There's actually pretty good evidence emerging that the light exposure you have both in the morning and throughout the day dramatically counteracts what you just mentioned. You went for that walk when light was still out, and you had a brighter light exposure in, we'll just call it the 3 or 4 hours before bed than you would have had ever in the past. But you can mitigate that damage by seeing light appropriately during the day and in the morning. Light exposure in the morning will impact your sleep at night, because then if you are exposed to high amounts of light later in the day, that exposure to light earlier will help reduce that damage.
How?
There's this whole cascade of things that influence when it is time to be awake and when it is time to go to sleep. And this is both hormonal based as well as neurally based. Your brain will shut down or activate in response to light, in response to exercise, in response to arousal, in response to food, in response to stimulants, and a whole host of other things. That light earlier in the day sets that rhythm. It starts the clock.
I'm not going to touch the science on this. That's his lane, not mine. But the plain version, daylight early and no blue light at midnight, through long before it had a biohacker in a branded polo selling it back to us.
Anyway, oh! I scream like a little girl and pee myself. Go back with the glove.
Company called with a completely straight face, Compliant Technologies, selling gloves that drop a grown man where he stands. I mean, just the caption on the screen reckons there's a 20 million order behind it. True or not, you just know if there is this out there, it's being used for exactly this reason.
This North Korean is answering questions from the internet, and this is his most devastating answer.
Do you think the widespread of hunger and shortages of food would get worsen over time?
This is something you'd understand if you've lived in North Korea. A dictatorship keeps its people suffering, just enough that they don't actually die. Because if people have full stomachs, they'll seek freedom and defect, or they'll rise up and fight back. But if too many people die, it's hard for the regime to survive. They need people to serve 10 years in the military, build the leaders' villas, and even staff his pleasure squads. So things will stay pretty much as they are. There may be small differences, but North Korea will never truly change. People should give up the dream of negotiating with the regime. When we were growing up, our parents always used to say, "This year is so hard, I could die." Then the next year they'd say, "This year is just as hard." Then the year after that, they'd joke, "I regret not dying last year." Every year it's the same. It's so hot I could die. It's so cold I could die. I'm starving to death. And yet everyone's still alive. So I think things will just keep staying the same.
There's genuinely nothing to add to a man describing being kept hungry on purpose. I'll only say his point stretches a fair bit past North Korea. Different scale everywhere else. Same lever really though, isn't it?
Donald Trump watches your show, and so I will say to him directly, Mr. Trump, you are the first president in American history to start and lose a war by yourself. You have made America more weak, more alone, and less respected. Congress has to take back the steering wheel from this imperative.
Another first for Donnie. He is the first president to start and lose a war all by himself. He's consistent, if nothing else.
I'll save you all the hot take on the politics. We all know none of this is true, but probably for very, very different reasons. So we've got a waving flag, a mismatching boot print, a ring slapped on the end, same 3 clips every single time, and we still argue about what this is all about.
You have no context, yeah, this might seem creepy. However, when you have the context, you'll realize it's not so bad. This is meant to be a creepy Google Earth video that I got tagged in. It says, "In the middle of nowhere, Finland." Hundreds of them. What the heck are they? And we can see these small dots. And when we enter Street View, we can see what looks to be a bunch of humanoid figures standing still. Now again, low resolution, no context. Yeah, this might be creepy, but when we get better photos, we can see we're looking at a bunch of scarecrows. That being said, these humanoid figures are not meant to scare away birds and protect crops. Instead, this is an art installation called The Silent People. There are over 1,000 of these scarecrows, and they are maintained twice a year. They also change the clothing, so it is a constantly updated art installation. There's no one right interpretation for the Silent People. Some people do think, though, that it is aligned with some of the soldiers that were lost there during the Winter War in Finland.
Look, context does a lot of lifting, okay? Most creepy footage is probably just an ordinary thing where you just haven't seen the boring half of it yet.
So the intelligence community inspector general told you that humans are not in charge.
They extremely hinted at it, yes.
Holy, that is crazy. And then you think of the fact that Chuck McCullough is involved in this topic and really helping out on the whistleblower side. And he was the first intelligence community inspector general.
Chuck is a beast. And I think I have nothing but respect for everybody who gives a damn about our nation and who cares to serve it.
What would the IC be privy to that might allow them to say with authority that humans aren't in charge of the government?
I want to be very careful and very respectful. Let's say you ask me a question and I say, yeah, I've seen gray beings. Hypothetically speaking, let's say I say that and your next question is, well, where did they come from? And then I respond, I think they've been here a long time. And the very next statement is, who do you think is running the show? Hypothetically, let's say that happened.
That's wild.
I'm going to tell you what my problem is with this one. The more openly a bloke's allowed to sit on a podcast and float that humans aren't running the show, the less I buy it. Real secrets don't get a booking slot for airtime.
God is the creator and the judge. I'm not the judge. Me personally, I judge things off of intention. We are human. We gonna make mistakes, but I gauge somebody's intention. What was you trying to say? You know what I'm saying? And if the intention is clear, I give the execution a little wiggle room. You know what I'm saying? Or the articulation. And I asked everybody, look at my intention. You know what I'm saying? What was I trying to say? I was trying to big up my homeboy for creating a banquet for these young kids from the hood that play football, got everybody suited and booted. that was killers at one time with suits on, you know, serving the kids food. And you know what I mean? I'm like, we gotta do this more often. I wanted to shed light on that.
Judging a person on intention over execution is probably fairer than most of us manage.
There's a lot of good happening in the world right now. This is so cool. It was a video that was titled Human Imagination Beats AI, and the way they did this, I'm very impressed. There's a mosquito factory in Colombia that's producing 40 million mosquitoes a week. These mosquitoes in particular are carrying a bacteria that prevents them from transmitting viruses to humans. By mating with wild populations, they are spreading this trait to more mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are the #1 way people pass away in the world. Correction, #1 death because of animals in the world. This student at his high school graduation was surprised when his surgeon who saved his life from cancer showed up at his graduation. There's a new village in Scotland that is offering homeless people a place to live for free in return of just working with the community inside of this tiny village. Jamaica's homicide rate has dropped by 40%, and this is driven by a almost double increase in police tip-offs. A study from earlier this year says that littering has declined by 34% across all of America since 2020. I'm Adorian. Follow for more good news.
And here is our fleeting good news clips of the day, and I'll take it even if these roundups are probably engineered to leave you feeling lovely for all of, 8 seconds before plunging right back into reality.
Instagram, what's new with you? So we changed our logo. You know how our logo for our word mark was this, which looks pretty nice? Oh, we changed it to this. You changed your name to Instagram? Oh, it's still Instagram. That's not a Z, it's an R. What kind of letters is that? Well, we were trying something new. I don't know what you were trying. I don't know what letters are those. They're probably using my letters, right? Like they're Greek, right? No, that's English. That's English!
No way. Weeks of outrage because a single letter grew a slightly fancier leg. This world really and truly and honestly baffles me.
Did you hear what U.S. Customs can do when you're entering the United States? They can legally search your phone.
As a citizen?
As a citizen.
How is that allowed?
No one really knew about that until this one guy who's an activist. He landed, he was coming back to the United States. He was stopped at Border Patrol. He was being investigated for his activism. We need to get into your phone. And he's like, no.
Give me a warrant.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I want a lawyer. You have no right to this and that. They're like, actually, we have every right to do this with our department. Give us your phone. He's like, all right, here's the passcode. Erased his phone.
So he was up to something.
Yep.
If I get pulled over and someone asks for my phone, like, I'm going to say no. Not that I have anything to hide, but no.
Yeah, but like why do you need to get my phone?
Exactly.
Have you seen that video of that guy? He's doing like a selfie video of these cops and they're like, we're going to search your car. They open up the back and he does that. And the cop tosses in the bag.
Oh, yeah, it happens.
And it's
Dude,
like, he's like, what did you just throw in there? He's like, what do you mean? It's like, I just saw you throw it. He's like, no, you didn't.
And you can see
I got it on video.
And you see him panic. The cop's starting to panic a little bit there.
Why do they do that?
I don't know, man.
Okay, so this is definitely worth your attention today. They can go through your phone at the border, citizen or not. Privacy was always more of a polite arrangement than a right. At least that's how it's starting to seem, isn't it? Lovely shot, though it is captioned total when the ring of light makes it plainly a partial, and by all accounts it was a partial eclipse, so yeah. I've no idea how you control this so precisely, none at all, but somehow they did it.
There's a fruit eaten by hundreds of millions of people that most of the world has never heard of. In Jamaica, they call it guinep, but in Puerto Rico, they call it guinepa. It's the same fruit, but it has over 20 names across the Caribbean and Latin America. And that's exactly why most of you have never heard of it. A fruit this popular should be everywhere, but we never agreed on what it was called, so it never traveled the way it should have. It grows in clusters like grapes, and you crack the shell with your teeth. Then you suck the pulp off the seed that's the size of a marble. In Jamaica, they say this is how people learn to kiss. It's been eaten across the Caribbean, Central America, and South America for centuries. Hundreds of millions of people eat it every single year. And somehow, most of you are just now hearing about it, which is pretty insane.
eaten by hundreds of millions, and you've somehow never heard of it purely because it carries 20 different names and none of them ever won out, which is pretty wild, right? Also, how you learn to kiss is a bold pitch for a fruit. A little weird, maybe. Dry eyes and dark circles, all pinned on stress and fatigue, which covers absolutely everyone and explains nobody and nothing.
There's never been a single time in human history where we've been with no war. So you'd have to...
There was one.
When?
During King Solomon's reign, the whole world went into peace.
What year was this?
One generation. Be about 2,400 years ago or something like that.
So how would we even know that there weren't wars in Morocco at the time? It's so long ago.
King Solomon kept one of the best, stories of humankind alive during that time.
I'm sure he did, but what is the odds that he knows what's going on in China? There's no way he could know if there's war somewhere else.
There was a technology beyond all of that sitting on the planet at that time.
What was that?
Pyramids.
Hold on. So you think that they used the pyramids to find out if there's war in China?
I think we had a technology called a human body at the time that was fully used, and we were fully telepathic.
It really does say a lot about us as a species when absolute global peace, a time when no armed conflict or organized violence occurred anywhere on Earth, has never occurred or been documented. A bit of a sour note to actually leave things on today, but here we are. Before we end today's episode, I'm just going to take a moment to thank every single person that you see on screen right here, because they are the reason that I do this, and if you guys made it to this point, you are too. And I've never once asked for any single one of you to hit that button and join the channel membership or join Patreon or anything like that, but here we are. There's over 200 of you. I cannot believe it. I think just the other day I was saying like we're nearly at 200, and now I think it's like 215 people. That is, honestly, to me, that's outrageous. And now, because I'm putting this later on in the video, I can yap. I can actually express my gratitude without worrying about people, clicking off the video because they don't want to hear me thanking people. Would you believe, if you go to the comment section, people complain about this segment. They call it advertisement. It's gratitude. Like, this is the state we're in, guys. Look, I'm going to take the opportunity to yap. That's what you guys pay for. That's what I'm going to do. This segment's just for you anyway. So I'm here to give you information. I do that in the best way that I can. And when I actually thank you for the sincere and honest appreciation that you grant me and the generosity, I get accused of selling something. Go figure. That is the state of the world we're in. Nobody trusts anyone. And do you know what? There's good reason for that. I don't blame these people. But you guys, you support me and you make this a reality, and your support, it does not go unnoticed. Honestly, it has really helped with a lot of things which have been going on with the channel. As you've probably noticed, as I said in my little video, the update the other day, the back catalog has gone and it is going by the day. I'm checking and I'm seeing like videos are just, I don't know what's going on. I really don't know. I mean, I kind of know, but I can't say. You guys probably know as well. I mean, you've been here. Some of you have been here for 2 years. I think off the top of my head, actually, I tell you what, since I've got the opportunity to, I'm going to actually look right now. So I've got channel members here, which have been actually supporting me for 2 years. 2 years. I've been doing this for 2 years, guys. I started on I think it was the 22nd of August, 2024. That's a lot of twos, isn't it? And ever since I was able to set up channel membership, I've never asked anyone to hit that button. And yet, here we are. Okay, so I'm looking now, and the oldest member is Canadian Laurie, who has been a channel member for 22 months. 22 months. And then Callahan, Dark Prophet, Debev, Donovan Gray, Jose Ortega, Cameron Cates, Back If I Know. Some of your names are fantastic. Honestly, it brings me great pleasure just reading these. And of course, then I've got my highest paying members as well, which are just, I mean, like we've got 4 people currently on the black site tier, which is insane. We've got Nixie Nix, Kenny R, Derek Birch, Heather Phaser. I mean, the great thing is that now that I'm able to do this, oh, and Horror Holly as well on Top Secret, Acia Reynolds on Secret, and then Eddie Williams on Secret, No More Trump. That's their username, guys. I'm not saying that. Obviously, you guys know because you're channel members that I don't care about the politics, but you guys are all paying like the higher level membership, and I can't even really grant you anything more than that, but you're still supporting me because you care about the objective of this channel, you care about the truth, and I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I'm just expressing my gratitude. I've probably been rambling for a hell of a lot longer than I should be. How long have I been recording for? 5 minutes. Longest member thanks ever. But since it's at the end of the episode, I don't care. This bit is for you. And also coming up after this, we've got, what have we got? Featured comments are coming back because I think right now community really does mean more than anything, especially with the state of the world. And I'm just trying to do everything I can to make sure that we all feel like we're a part of something bigger than just this channel. This channel is just a conduit of what good is left in this world. And I'm trying to bring it together, bring people together, try to reduce the political nonsense because people still seem to, I don't know, they've got it in their head that it matters. I just, if it mattered, don't you think that democracy would have won by now? I'm just going to say it. Democracy's been around for a long time, guys, and the world's never been worse. So clearly that system either was never meant to work or it just functionally can't. Either way, it doesn't work. So whatever. Look, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. If you've made it to this point, and you're probably crazier than me if you're not even a member and you've listened to all of this. If you are, wow, you're awesome. If you want to know about the channel membership, there's a link down below. I'm not asking you to click on it. I'm not asking you to join, but it's there if you want to show support. With that being said, we are at the end of the video. I'm going to be closing this one out in just a moment. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart. So there we go. Once again, we went down the rabbit hole and it was not to find the bottom. As I always say, it's to find the thread which resides in amongst all the noise and static, extract it and practice our discernment along the way. If you did enjoy today's escapade, drop a like on the video, please. Tell me what you enjoyed. Tell me what you want to see more of. Tell me what you want to see less of. As I've said in my little announcement, I am not going anywhere. I'm not leaving YouTube. I don't know how a 2.5 minute video confused so many people. I made it very clear that the content is evolving, not disappearing. But hey ho, I'm saying it again just for clarity. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. The reactions as you know them are moving to Spotify. The content on YouTube is evolving. That is all. You're still going to get me doing my thing, just in a slightly different way, where I can't get caught up in all the, we'll call it propaganda politics. I don't know. I think I might have just coined a new term, but that's what I'm going. Maybe you can read between the lines. I'm sure you're discerning enough to know what I'm talking about there, but you still get the truth as I see it. That's not changing, but done in a way where it's perceived as entertainment rather than me trying to do anything to help. I don't know how I can't even phrase it the way that I want to. That is the state of the world that we're in, guys. It is horrendous, but look, I'm not going anywhere. If you made it to this point in the video and you're new, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I appreciate you making it to this point. If you enjoyed the ride, hit subscribe. As I say, I do post every single day. That's not changing. And I want to make sure that you actually are here every time a new video drops. Make sure you go join the Spotify. The link is going to be either in the description below or it'll be on the about page of the channel. And yeah, the most important thing that all of you can do for me right now is stay safe, stay well, and stay curious. Until next time.